Hey, welcome back to the vlog. This is going to be a special presentation where I'm going to record my reactions to the Canadian Screen Awards, which are just coming up in a little bit. Before they get started, I just wanted to go over a few of the things that I'll be looking at. Definitely the main three that I'll be looking at will be Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Film. The nominations for Best Actor, or as the Academy calls it, performance by an actor in a leading role. We have Maxime Godet for Our Loved Ones, Christopher Plummer for Remember, Russell Sutherland for River, and River already won the First Feature Award, Jacob Tremblay for The Room, and Jasmine Geljo for The Waiting Room. And so for performance by an actress in a leading role, there are 5 nominees there as well. There's Leah Goldstein for Diamond Tongues, Hadass Yaron for Felix and Myra, Karel Tremblay for Our Loved Ones, Celine Bonnier for The Passion of Augustine, and Brie Larson for Room. And then the big one, the Best Motion Picture, there are 10 nominations for Best Motion Picture. I'm just reading it off from my printout. As with all of these nominations, they were announced January 19th, and so it's been a couple of months for people to, I guess, along the same lines as every other big film awards ceremony where they announce the nominations a couple of months before the actual awards presentation in order to encourage people to go out and see these movies and to kind of build a little bit of buzz. So this is the Canadian Oscar buzzy time is now done. And the 10 nominated movies listed here, they've got them in alphabetical order, but I'm going to change that up a bit. So amongst the English language films, we've got Brooklyn, The Forbidden Room, Remember, Room, and Sleeping Giant. And then amongst the French language films up for Best Motion Picture, we've got Corbeau, The Demons, Felix and Myra, My Internship in Canada, Our Loved Ones. So that's 10 nominations. Those are the 3 categories that I'm kind of looking at. Obviously, there are many other categories: Best Makeup, Best Costume, Best Original Song, Best Sound. There's a whole bunch of them. Best Supporting Actor and Actress, Best Director, of course, Best Cinematography. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they do this year. Norm Macdonald from Ottawa is actually hosting the awards. He's been living in America for a while. If you're not familiar with Norm Macdonald, he's probably best known for hosting the nightly news report on Saturday Night Live years and years ago. More recently, I think he's on the Canadian comedy show Sunnyside. And if you're not familiar with that, any of the newer KFC commercials, if you've seen those, he's actually dressed up as Colonel Sanders for those Kentucky Fried Chicken commercials. So the show is about to start. Forgive me, I'm going to be looking off camera. The show itself runs for a couple of hours. I'm going to be doing some heavy editing and post-production. I'm not sure how long this video will run, but it's primarily to do with my reaction to what happens. And because half the show really only has to do with film, then you can be assured that it's definitely not going to go past an hour, but it likely will be much shorter than that. So I'm going to sit back, enjoy this show that's coming up in a couple of minutes. I've got some tasty treats, some of my gourmet butter tarts here. Unfortunately, I don't have a case of 50 at my side, so you'll just have to pretend that this is a stubby. I just figured I would need a coffee more than a beer to watch this, but we'll see how it goes. So here it goes. Just going to turn up the volume here and go. So it's at Toronto this year at the Sony Centre for the Performing Arts, Canadian Screen Awards. Norm Macdonald. It's a nice set. Shiny. Ooh, Norm. You should have gone with the extra strength Spanx for that suit. He doesn't quite fit his tuxedo there, but maybe that's part of the gag. I don't know. Look at this beautiful crowd. Yeah, he does sound like Bob Hope. That's hilarious. Oh, you're a wonderful audience. Wonderful audience. Where am I? Oh, celebrating Canadian film and television is like celebrating the Northern Lights. You probably haven't seen them, but you've heard they're amazing. Oh, bad, bad, bad. Awesome. Christopher Plummer's there. Wow, he's looking great. He's in his 80s. He's looking really, really good. So I'm guessing he's up for something. Well, he's up for Best Actor, but why the hell would he buy? Well, it's Toronto. He lives in Toronto, so it's not as though it would be much of a stretch for him to show up, even if he's not sure if he's going to win or not. Martin Short. Martin Short's getting the Lifetime Achievement Award. He did a pretty good job hosting the awards, the previous awards. He was a little bit over the top and a little bit smarmy at times, but that's part of his humor, and it worked. You're tanking, Norm. Come on, speed up the pace. Ross of Sutherland. Yeah, it's cool that he's nominated. It's just kind of funny. He seems to be nominated for something every year. Hey, Donald Sutherland is there too. Awesome. Very cool. Oh. So he's saying that the statuette for the Canadian Screen Award should be called The Candy. Did John Candy actually ever win a Genie Award? Has he actually been recognized individually by the Academy? I'd have to look that up, but I don't think he has. Probably for SCTV as part of the SCTV troupe. But I don't know. Why would they do that? I thought they were calling it the Screenies. The Candy. Well, 5 years from now, people aren't going to remember that it's named the Candy in commemoration of John Candy. They're gonna. Oh, there's Jacob Tremblay. They're just gonna think of it as candy, as nom nom candy. Like a trick or treat type of thing. My dad says you're a funny guy. That's Jacob Tremblay talking to Norm. Yeah. Okay, so for feature-length documentary, actually the title is the Ted Rogers Best Feature-Length Documentary. The Anima Profile, Hadwin's Judgment, How to Change the World. That's that Greenpeace documentary that I think is played theatrically here. I know it played the Wakefield Film Festival, and I think it played another film festival as well. Hurt, and Last of the Elephant Men. So only 5 nominations for Best Feature-Length Documentary. Best Short Documentary, 5 nominations there as well. Bacon and God's Wrath, The Little Deputy, Quiet Zone, Rebel, and world-famous Gopher Hole Museum. Yeah, I don't know about the award being called the Candy. Like I said, in 5 years, people aren't going to remember that it's called the Candy in commemoration of John Candy. That would only work if they called it the John Candy. And since the Academy, I'm fairly certain that the Academy has not actually recognized John Candy in the past, and John Candy is not really known as a vocal proponent for Canadian film and television. I mean, the stuff that he did on SCTV is still funny to this day, but that was the 80s. I mean, we've come a long way since then. And, I mean, I can think of, well, Norman Jewison would be a more obvious choice if you want to commemorate somebody who has been a vocal supporter of Canadian film for decades. I mean, the National Film Centre, or the Canadian Film Centre, is his baby, where up-and-coming filmmakers actually get a leg up and get help in building their film. It's very much like Sundance in that respect. he would be. I mean, and I really wouldn't have a problem with Norman Jewison being recognized by having the Canadian Screen Award being named after him. The candy, I think people are just going to associate that with like trick-or-treat candy, but it'll probably catch on, I would imagine, because it's kind of weird. It's a little bit better than the Screenies, but it's still kind of juvenile. If you take away the acknowledgement that it's to commemorate John Candy. But we'll see. We'll see what they do with it. Okay, Best Adapted Screenplay. Oh, Emma Donoghue for Room. Good for her. Good for her. And of course you know of Room because it was one of the 8 films nominated for an Oscar. It's kind of sad that that's probably how you know it from, as well as a little bit of buzz that it's been getting here in Canada because of its Canadian connection. Yeah, but when half the movies that are up for awards haven't actually screened theatrically, it's really difficult to get too excited about it. It's more along the lines of, like Norm Macdonald was talking about earlier, where it's kind of like celebrating the Northern Lights. He's scolding people because some people are still referring to the Canadian Screen Award as the Canadian Screen Award and not following his suggestion of calling it the Candy. Ay, ay, ay. I'm going to have a butter tart. They're saying he doesn't like foreign films. Hey, Ottawa shout out. Saying you love foreign films like Star Wars. Yeah. Canadians have a tendency to forget that most of the films that we see are imports, including the Hollywood films. And that's because English Canada is essentially considered to be under the same region as the United States. We can thank a lot of people in politics for that, as well as the Governor General at the time, because that's the reason why these awards exist. Oh, wait a minute. President Obama, take it down. That's an interesting dress. I'm guessing the take it down has to do with the Confederate flag. Well, I'm not too sure what kind of clout President Obama is going to have in having the Confederate flag taken down here in Canada. Why else would you wear that at a Canadian film presentation? It's a cool dress otherwise. I just don't get having the slogan. Best comedy. Oh, okay, so we're back to television. But yeah, that's pretty well the reason why these awards exist, is thanks to the Governor General and the politics of the day back in the 40s, after the war, where the Governor General was lobbied to validate and celebrate Canadian film in the same way that the Governor General to this day celebrates and validates Canadian literature with the Governor General Awards for literature. They wanted to have a Governor General Award for film, and the Governor General and the politics of the day said no. But if the Governor General at the time had actually said, oh, okay, you're right, I'm going to ignore all of the agreements and the lobbying that is coming from Hollywood to kind of marginalize Canadian film, which at that time was primarily made up of documentaries. I mean, that's where documentaries, Canada is where documentaries come from. Incidentally, we invented them. Catherine O'Hara is back on stage, but she's handing out an award. And what is this one? Best Supporting Actor in a Film. So Biba Boys, that's another one. Biba Boys never screened theatrically here. Tony Nardi for Corbeau. It's a French language film. I do not believe that it's screened outside of festival screenings. I know it's playing at the Outaouais Film Festival. My internship at Canada, that played here at the Bytown. I believe it also played at the Mayfair, and it had a couple of festival screenings, including the one at Wakefield. Sleeping Giant. I believe Sleeping Giant only had a festival screening here. Why do they do that? Why can't the announcers just announce stuff? Why do they need to joke around? It doesn't make the show any better. And in a lot of cases, it just makes it awkward. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Whoa, lady, whoa, slow down there. You're going to fall out of your dress. That's all I'm looking at right now. This is the best candy ever. See what I mean? I mean, within minutes, John Candy has been forgotten, and now the award is a confection. So yeah, I'm not digging it. I am digging that she just said shit on live TV, though. Because it wouldn't be a live broadcast in Canada without somebody swearing. Girlie, you're gonna wear a dress like that, you really need a sports bra. I can already smell this one coming. He's doing a swag bag gag. Did you see some of the items that were in the Oscar swag bag? I was really impressed by the, what was it, $250 worth of deluxe toilet paper? Oh, he's got a pancake. Great. Ugh, the Forbidden Room. Yeah, welcome to Guy Madden world. Crazy Man Strikes Again. Holy shit. It's really cool looking, but Jesus. Yeah, that's one filmmaker the 60s were awesome for. I doubt he remembers any of it. Jesus, cinematic acid trip. But you can't help but continue. Giant brain on the horizon. Yeah. Hey, that's what they should call the Canadian Screen Awards. The Guys, or the Madden, or the Guy Madden Award. That's what they should call it. Because, I mean, that guy makes movies that are unlike anybody else's movies ever. And when you think of Canadian cinema, you definitely have to include Guy Madden in there. More so than John Candy. Not to bash John Candy, I was a huge fan of his back in the day. I even enjoyed some of the movies that he was in. Uncle Buck is one of them. That one where he played opposite Maureen O'Hara, where he was the cop. I enjoyed that film. But calling the awards the Candy, I'm just not sure about. I'm not going to harp on it much more, but we're talking about TV again. Okay, well, what else can I regale you with? Best Animated Short, we have Auto Portraits, which is playing at the Outaouais Film Festival, incidentally. The Ballad of Immortal Joe, Bam, In Deep Waters, and The Sleepwalker. Okay, Breton, Sanctuary to Americans who want to move north. Whoa! Whoa! Norm Macdonald just dropped an F-bomb on live TV. On live TV. I guess you can take the boy out of Ottawa, but you can't take the Ottawa out of the boy. Now everybody's all kind of embarrassed with that nervous smile. Oh, he dropped an F-bomb on live TV. We'll just carry on. Time for more butter tart. Okay, so now we're doing Best Actress. It's so hilarious. All of these performances that they're showing clips from, all of the women in the Best Actress category are whispering, because that's their deep moment. Well, except Brie Larson. She's just bellowing like a crazy person. Brie Larson won. Very cool. Yep. So he's been drinking because he just called Eugene Levy Eugene Lenny. Okay, so best feature-length documentary was won by Hurt. Congratulations. So Christopher Plummer just lost Best Actor to Jacob Tremblay. So that's okay. So that's now 3 awards. We've got Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Screenplay. Very cool, very cool. So the fellow who is accepting the award on behalf of the screenwriter who won Best Original Screenplay, very, very classy, just called Christopher Plummer's performance in Remember a Masterclass, which is awesome, and also showed class in thanking Adam McGoyan, who is the director of Remember. Huh. Best Picture went to Room. Huh. So what is that now? Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, and Best Picture. 5 Canadian Screen Awards. So yeah, the highlights would definitely be in seeing Martin Short get the Lifetime Achievement Award. Another highlight would absolutely be seeing Donald Sutherland and Rossif Sutherland together on stage, even though there really wasn't much banter. But at that point, I was pretty well done with the people on stage bantering. It was just too forced and awkward for the most part. Really cool to see Room win so many awards. I figured it was going to be another kind of a scattered doling out of awards across a wide range of nominated films. So that's kind of cool to see that. I don't know if it's going to help the film or not, as much as the film being nominated for an Oscar, as I've said a couple of times already. But that's just the way things are. But yeah, that's cool to see. And what else? Some of the low points, I think the main low point would be Norm Macdonald's jokes were overall fairly lame. He had a couple of good ones in the beginning, but he tanked pretty quickly and really wasn't able to recover. The swag bag gag was completely lame, and there were a couple of other issues, and I'm not even talking about the F-bomb. I mean, that could actually be considered a high point of his performance at this stage. So he was fairly disappointing, and I don't know if it's that the overall script or outline for these award ceremonies have to go through a committee before being vetted for live TV, or what the deal is. But it seems like half the jokes and half the attempts at jokes in this ceremony have a tendency year after year to just fall flat. And it would, like I had mentioned during the broadcast, in my opinion, it would be better if they just forget about trying to be funny, forget about trying to make the most of their short moment before making an announcement, to just get on and make the announcement, and don't try to be chit-chatty, and don't try to be in any way funny, because it's not going to work. If you don't have that clever, pitch-perfect, momentary quip, then shut up and just read the teleprompter and don't do the chit-chat stuff. You know, that's kind of the way that I look at it. I also don't understand why the show is 2 hours. I think that they could probably still do it in an hour. But 2 hours, okay, it's still shorter than the Academy Awards. So I can't really fault them on that too much. Really nice set, some nice gowns, some really nice It was a nice looking show this year. They just have to kind of tweak it some more and just find the right host. And I'm sure that once they find the perfect host for these awards, then they can just lock that host in for subsequent award broadcasts. But they're yet to find that person. And I think they're probably going to have to do something like a talent search. Anyhow, thank you very much for joining me in checking out this year's Canadian Screen Awards. Congratulations to all of the winners as well as all of the nominees. Cheers.